Hello, good evening. Good evening, friends, family, loved ones, and supporters. It's another Monday evening. Good evening. How you doing? Oh, I had a very wonderful weekend. How was your weekend? This last weekend it was a fantastic weekend for me because on Saturday we had a wonderful celebration. It was 10 years since Rosebud started. Our project for the young girls, Rosebud Center for Girls. We clocked 10 years and we had a celebration on Saturday. It was awesome. Very awesome. I just want to thank God for every minute of that day. It was beautiful. And I want to use this opportunity to thank everybody who came on Zoom. We had it as a Zoom affair because, of course, obviously, because of what is going on. We couldn't, come together physically, but it was beautiful. There were lots of people. Honestly, I'm still trying to get over it. It's so interesting. I'm so excited. I'm so grateful to everybody who took their time, who came on Zoom that day. It was wonderful. I want to seize this opportunity to say a very big thank you to the mayor of the Royal Borough of Greenwich, because she came, Councillor Linda Bird. She was there, and actually we had the honor, the privilege for the mayor to declare the anniversary opened. And she opened it at exactly 2:15. And we started to enjoy ourselves. It was beautiful. It was an opportunity to appreciate the girls. I mean, it's been 10 long years. Yeah, we were able to appreciate all the girls who had, done one thing or the other to improve themselves, who have distinguished themselves in different ways. So we had quite a number of awards for the girls. We gave them different awards in the different areas where they have made themselves distinguished. And we also had the opportunity, because one of our girls, who we sadly lost 2 years ago, Clarissa Hurst, it was an opportunity for us to honor her, to remember her. And we actually, because she was a very resilient girl, very resilient. She was a go-getter. She was a fighter. She was a girl who will never stop at anything. Nothing is going to stop that girl. Whatever she needed to do, she just gets on with it. She went with us to the one of our residential programs. I'm trying to remember which year. Must have been maybe 2017 or 2016. She went with us. I think that particular year we had the residential at the PGL, because we had to do all this zip wire and all those daring stuff. Oh my goodness. But this girl is just not going to stop at anything. She just wanted to try everything. And she was there, brave girl. She went on the Zoom wire. She all sorts of, oh my goodness, even things I didn't want to dare. My lovely Clarissa, she tried everything. It was a beautiful experience. But then sadly, we lost her in 2018. So we used the opportunity to celebrate her life, because when she was attending Rosebud, she was a very wonderful inspiration to all the other girls, because she had her health challenges. She was always coming on a wheelchair. But in spite of that, she was just a go-getter. So we took the opportunity on Saturday to celebrate her. Not only to celebrate her, we actually decided to award, to make an award in her honor. And that award was an award for resilience. And what we have decided to do is that that's going to be an annual award at Rosebud Center for Girls. And it will be given to a girl, any girl who has distinguished herself and has shown that she has been very resilient. Because there are loads of challenges that come people's ways. But for some people, they are able to wade through those challenges. Some people crumble in the middle of the challenges. So the girl that we gave that award to this year is very deserving, because that girl, oh no, she's just I'm short of an adjective to use if I want to use only one adjective to qualify this girl. But then she's just what resilience mean in all its entirety, if that makes sense. So this girl, we gave her that award. Mary, her name is. We gave her the award, and that's the Clarissa Hurst Resilience Award, or Award for Resilience, if you like. So that was one of the highlights. And then, of course, we recognized and gave awards to all the other girls. We gave them award for their creativity. We gave them award for, their punctuality. We gave them different kinds of awards. We gave awards in different areas to the deserving girls. And then, of course, we recognized two ladies who volunteered for the Rosebud Center, who had been a very great support to the project coordinator and to the project as a whole. So we gave the two of them recognition and awards. And then, of course, we had two lovely, beautiful girls who had been Rosebud girls. I mean, they came in just when Rosebud started 10 years ago. And the two of them had gone on to, you know, they are now big ladies, if I may say. The two of them now have master's degree, and to give back to Rosebud, to say thank you. They are now back to serve as members of the Board of Trustees, which is amazing. So we recognize the two girls. We gave them awards too for to appreciate what they have brought into Rosebud. Not only did they didn't just take away from Rosebud, they decided to bring back to Rosebud. So we also thought, you know what, we cannot take it for granted, because, even in the Bible, when the Lord Jesus Christ, when he gave help to all those people, the lepers, there's not all of them who came back to say thank you. So, but these girls, they came back to say thank you, and not only saying thank you, but they decided to bring something into the organization, their skills, their experience. They decided to bring it on board and make use of it on the Board of Trustees, which we greatly, hugely appreciate. And we don't want to take that for granted at all. So again, I am saying to Bolutife Fasheum and Atinuke Iyowawi, I'm saying a very huge thank you to both of you again. I know we have recognized you on Saturday and gave you an award, but we are excited about what you are bringing back into the project. That's why I thought it's good to still give you a shout out today. Now, shout out to everybody who came in on Saturday, because you made my day. The Board of Trustees were also there. Everybody was so happy because it was a seamless event. Honestly, I just want to thank God. I want to really, really thank God, because it's not by might or by power, it's just by the Spirit of God. And honestly, God was awesome on that Saturday. He was beautiful. I was so excited. You know what? I got so excited when I ate a little bit there, but in the evening, I even lost appetite because I was too excited to eat. It's funny. And I didn't even go to sleep early because I was just excited. I was trying to look back at the recording and all that. So a lot of people that I did not even know were there. I saw love. Then I was screaming. I'm like, oh, look at this person. Oh, look at that person. People that I didn't even know were there. And they came. So one by one, I want to thank everybody who came, because there is possibly no way I can start to mention all of you one by one. Otherwise, I would have just started to mention people now. But I won't even go that route. Because you see, if I mention some people and I don't mention some, that will look like I am not grateful, or that I have preference for some people, and I definitely don't want to do that, because that is not the case. So I just want to say a general thank you to everybody who came to support us on Saturday, everybody who has been supporting us since the beginning of the project 10 years ago. Yes, we started in 2010. We started at that time in the, what's the name of that school now? Mulberry Children's Center. That's somewhere in Abbeywood. We had a lady that time. Her name is Kerry. She was very helpful. She supported us, gave us a space within the school. We had a room there that we could come to once every week. So they gave us that space for nothing, just to support what we were doing, because of course she has a passion for young girls as well. So when I shared the vision with her, she was quite excited and happy to help. So she gave us that space and we started there gradually, and we just had one workshop a week kind of thing. That's what we started with, and gradually the girls started coming, and then we started growing gradually, and until 2013, yes, exactly 3 years after, and the Lord smiled on us. The heavens smiled on listening ears. Yes, and we got favored, and we got a funding. We got a huge funding to turn the project from a pet project, from a baby project, into a full-time girls center, which became the first of its kind in the Royal Borough of Greenwich. Up till now, I think we are still the only full-time. I mean, there are loads of girls projects all over the place, but we are a full-time girls center. And I'm grateful. I'm happy for more centers to come up, because you see, we cannot attend to everybody. So if there are more and more people who can set up some little projects here and there so that they too can be given support, that would be wonderful. But I want to thank God, because we have the privilege to be the very first one. Yeah, and it's always a nice feeling to be number one, isn't it? So I thank God. So yes, but the important thing for me personally, seriously, apart from being number one, is about the number of lives, the lives of girls that we have been able to touch, the lives of parents as well. Because you see, the Project Rosebud Center for Girls is not just about the girls. We also work with the parents. Like I said on Saturday, when I was giving my address, I said it's like a three-in-one project. We have the Rosebud Center for Girls, which is for girls that are already in their teenage years. And then, of course, we have the one we call Rose Petals. I explained that day that the Rose Petals are girls who are usually under 10. So we call them Rose Petals because we support them in readiness for secondary school life. So usually they are under 10. They're usually between 7. Some of them, actually, we had some who came in at 5. They came in kind of organically, not because we wanted to take 5-year-olds, but one of them, the very first one that came in, was because the father was working in the premises where Rosebud was going on. And then she's always hearing things being done there. And then she comes in to people, Auntie, please, can I stay and participate in what they are doing, even though she was so young. But she kept coming every day. She can't wait to finish her school. And then she's there. So after some time, she came. And then, of course, we had one of the facilitators who also had a 4-year-old girl thereabouts. I think she was about 4 then. Yeah, about 4 going to 5. And then she brought her in one day and she saw the other one, and the two of them started playing together. And then gradually, that's how we started. Then we started to get requests from parents who had younger girls who were asking, oh, can you get something for our girls and all that. And when the request was a lot, and we started to have these girls coming in, we thought, you know what, it's better to start to do something for them. And we started. And it was beautiful because we discovered that the younger you catch them, the better. So it was beautiful because we started to work with them and we saw tremendous changes, in their lives, in their thinking, they were asking loads and loads of questions. Youngsters, they love asking questions. But then thank God that we were able to provide answers to their questions. And that was how Rose Petal started. And again, when we started to work with the girls and the feedbacks we were getting, we were able to discover that there was a lot of gap between the girls and many of their parents. So we felt it was important for us to do something to improve the communication gap between them. So we decided to be proactive and stood in the middle of them, try to see how we can bring together the girls and their moms particularly. And then we started to work with the parents. Like I said on Saturday, it's not because we think they don't know how to parent, but we just felt if we do it together, it's always better. Two good heads are better than one. So we were working together with the parents so that we were able to be on the same page with the parents, so that whatever skills or whatever information or skills of life or information about life generally, whatever we are sharing with the girls at the center, the parents can reinforce it at home, and whatever the parents were saying at home, we can reinforce it in the center, so that it made us to be on the same page, and it was very helpful to the girls. And one of the feedbacks we got was that it greatly improved family relationships. So that was how we had Rose Garden, which is the project we were running to support the moms of the girls. So we have the rose petals, the rose buds, and the rose garden. So it's such a beautiful thing. I'm so grateful to God, for that, for the last 10 years, and for lives that have been touched. And I want to seize this opportunity because, you see, in spite of the corona, our workshops are still on for the girls. The workshops are still on every day. Well, actually, Tuesday to Saturday. And because all of them go to school, yeah, so the girls can come in, they can log on at 5 o'clock, and then the workshops is always 1 hour between 5 o'clock, excuse me, and 6 o'clock, Tuesday to Friday. And then on Saturdays, they have their cookery session. Usually, I think they are baking at the moment. They have their baking sessions on Saturdays, and that's between 11 and 1:30. So if you have any daughter out there who is between the ages of 9 and 16, and you want them to join the Rosebud project, our workshops and all our sessions, you can just go online on the website of Rosebud. If you go on www.rosebudcenter.org, you will find all the information there, and then you can download the registration form for your daughter or for your niece or for your granddaughter or for your sister, whoever it is. You can download the registration form and you can fill it up and then send it to us. Hello, good evening, Nama. Thank you for watching. Thank you tonight. How have you been? Yes, so you can do that, and then we will get back. One of the members of the team will get back to you, and then we can do all the due diligence. We do all our checks and balances, and then we can be able to give you the online login details so that your daughter or your granddaughter, but whoever is the girl that you want to join the Rosebud project, can be admitted to participate in the workshops. So please, if you have any girls out there who are under the age of 16, please rush to rosebudcenter.org and you will find all the information there, because the lines, the workshops are going to continue for the foreseeable future. As a matter of fact, I'm excited to tell you that Rosebud has gone international. So we are now Rosebud Center International, because we have girls now who log in from different countries of the world now. We have girls from the Netherlands, we had a girl from Indonesia during the summer program. So girls can log in from anywhere. So wherever you have relatives, whatever part of the world, as long as the girls are between the ages of 9 and 16, please feel free to send them on to rosebudcenter.org and they can always join me. So thank you very much. And I will still use that opportunity to say we are still trusting God for more support. I appreciate all the support you have given us in terms of giving us more support. I'll talk more about that just as we are rounding up. Now, for people who are tuning in for the first time today, we're on this talk show, Let's Share It. Let's Share It is a talk show program for the charity listening ears. And for those who are tuning in for the first time, who probably haven't been on this show before, Listening Ears is an award-winning charity organization based in the Royal Borough of Greenwich, and we've been running now for 14 years. I'm trusting God next year, God willing, if the Lord Jesus tarries, we'll clock 15 and we'll have a lovely celebration. So we thank God because the Lord has enabled us to touch several lives. For the Girls Project, for example, we have on our records at least about 800 girls that have passed through the project in the last 10 years. And I think it's something to be thankful about, something to be grateful to God for, because for me, it is a privilege to be in a position to support other people. It is a privilege because, you see, the thing is, if God wants to use you to support people and you don't make yourself available, he will use somebody better than you. That's the reality of the matter. So for me, I count it as a privilege to be used of God to support other people. And that's exactly what we do at Listening Here, supporting people. The focus of the entire charity is about providing comfort to the hurting, providing emotional, health, and lifestyle support service. But the core of the vision is giving comfort to people who are hurting. And then that's how we do it, by providing emotional, health, and lifestyle support service. And we as a charity, we have 3 core areas of passion. And I'll just quickly give you those areas now. The first one is about reducing isolation and loneliness among the elderly people in our community. And then, of course, supporting and empowering, nurturing young girls along their journey to womanhood, which is the Rosebud Center for Girls, which I have just told you about, that clocked 10 years on Saturday. And then, of course, the other area where we're passionate is about enlightening and empowering local members of our community to take very small steps of change in order to achieve improved health and total well-being. In terms of our project for the elderly people, we have 3 projects we run, 2 drop-in centers, which before COVID was running from, one was running from Abbeywood, the other was running from Thamesmead. But since the invasion, I will call it, of COVID, we have moved the projects online, and we have our online sessions on Wednesdays and on Fridays. On Wednesdays, both days it's 12 o'clock. We meet online on Zoom. So if there is anybody who wants to join, or if you have an elderly person at home, or you know any elderly neighbor, and you think they need to make some new friends, and they need to socialize and just participate in some exercises that we do, because we do some exercises, very gentle exercises, just gentle enough to be effective for their health, but still not too stressful. So you can go on our website, listeninghouse.org, or you send an email to help@listeninghouse.org. Otherwise, you can also send an email to feelgoodcenters@gmail.com. So whichever one is convenient for you, you can always do it, either to go on our website and download the forms there, or you give us a call or an email. So you can always contact us, whichever way is convenient for you. Our other project, Community Angels, which is also a befriending program to support the elderly people and the particularly isolated ones. Most of the time they are elderly people because of the COVID, because that one involves our volunteers going to the houses of the service users to visit them. So we have had to suspend that because of the COVID, but then we do telephone befriending. So if you still have anybody who is totally isolated and will need our support, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. Now, go back to our project, which is the talk show, which is the Let's Share It. As you must have known, every Monday I'm here at 6 o'clock, and then we can talk about different things. It's about sharing, basically, because you see, at Listening Ears, we believe that a problem shared is already half solved. So we believe that if somebody is asking a question and we are dealing with it or giving an answer, most of the time you are probably answering 100 other people who have the same question, but maybe there is no opportunity for them to ask, or they don't even have an idea how can they ask the question. So that's why we thought it was better to go around a platform like this, and then we can share. So you are free to ask questions. You can type in your questions in the chat box. As I'm on Facebook, I'm also on our Listening Ears YouTube channel, which anytime you want to watch it, you can just type in youtube.com/listening ears charity, and then it takes you to our YouTube channel. So you can go on the channel anytime. You can watch the previous episodes, and then if you have any questions, once the program is live like this on Monday evenings between 6 o'clock and 7, you can always just type in your questions either on YouTube or on Facebook, and then I can read it out. Like we always say, we take your privacy very seriously. So we are not going to mention any names, and we don't want anybody to mention other people's names as well. Yeah, so we will read out your question and then we can brainstorm about it. Like I said, I don't have to know everything. I'm actually trusting that a lot of you might know more than I do know, because those of you who are listening, some of you are medical personnel, some of you, different walks of life you are in. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, but I'm a qualified health trainer, so I can support you in the area of your health and total well-being, giving you advice, giving you kind of a guidance, giving you support on how you can actually take charge of your health and be in control, and see how you can, even when you have some health challenges, maybe people are suffering from things like diabetes or high blood pressure or any other challenge like that, what steps you can take on your own to at least be able to still improve your quality of life. You don't have to sentence yourself to a lifetime of frustration, because the control and the power is still in your hands actually. Sorry about that. Yeah, the control is still in your hands actually to take charge of your health. So those are the things. So people can contribute when there is a question that is raised. You can bring up your suggestions. You can bring in your contributions. And of course, I'm going to read it out, and then we can all brainstorm. You learn a little bit more from me. I learn a little bit more from you. And those who are asking the questions, they also learn a little, they get an insight into the questions that they are asking, and they get answers. So if you do it together, they say the more the merrier. So I'm looking out for you guys there. So you type in whatever suggestions or questions you want to ask, and then if I bring up anyone, whatever suggestions or reactions or contributions you want to make to it, please feel free to type them in. So we continue with our topic last week. Last week we started to talk about heart disease, and we spoke a little bit. I spoke to you about what is a heart disease, and what are the things that we need to do so that we can keep our hearts healthy. Because as we all know, I don't need to say that, that goes beyond, without saying, that everybody knows that our heart is the powerhouse of our existence. Once there is a problem with our heart, then there is a problem, because that's the control tower. So it is very crucial that we keep it in top form, because once our heart is in top form, every other thing in our lives will fit in. So that's why last week I started that, and we will go on that gradually every week until and then whatever questions you have, you can always type it in. And then I'll feel, you feel free to type in any question. And then of course I can answer them as much as I can, as diligently as I can. And then of course, if there are other people who know a little much more than I can offer, please feel free to make your contributions. So today, one of the things we are going to look at today, I don't know how far we'll be able to go before time is up, but then we'll do justice to as much as we can. So the first thing we are going to look at today is healthy eating, because that is so crucial. Because you see, there is a say that reads, You are what you eat. So that means if we are eating healthily, obviously we will be healthy. So that's why it is one of the most crucial areas that we want to look at tonight. So, what is healthy eating? That's my first question. I will actually appreciate it if people can type in their answers, what you think, what healthy eating means to you. You know, although I will tell you what it means to me. Excuse me just a minute. Let me just have a sip of water. Yes, I'll greatly appreciate if people can contribute and give answers to me in the chat box. What is healthy eating? What does healthy eating mean to you? I will talk about what it means to me from my perspective here, but then I want to hear what it means to you. One of the first things I want to say is that there are no single foods or a one size fits all menus that you need to follow to eat healthily. All foods can be included in your eating, and I always tell people that all foods can be included in a healthy, balanced diet. There isn't really any food that you cannot include. You just need to make sure that you get the right balance. You see, because a lot of people always ask me, Sister T, is there anything bad with eating pounded yam? Oh, Sister T, is there anything bad with eating meat or with eating the... I tell them there is nothing bad in eating anything. It is about how do we eat it, when do we eat it, with what do we combine it. Those are the key factors. And the bottom line of what I'm talking about here is about balance. So if we can maintain a balanced diet, you see, because what I have discovered over time, you see all these yo-yo diets, all these diets, do this, do that, that they always, excuse me, give to people, a lot of times it is so difficult for people to sustain it. And that's why a lot of them don't work, because they will tell you all the rules and regulations you'll be given. A lot of times they are so difficult to follow. So invariably, it is very frustrating for those who want to do it, because it's the things they want to do are not natural stuff. So it's so difficult for them to abide by it. But you see, maybe when they have just made their decision that they want to lose weight because of the excitement, they are so excited. Oh, I want to lose weight, I want to lose weight. Maybe they are wedding pending, or they have a very important occasion that they want to fit into a particular dress and they want to look so nice. So they now want to kind of lose some weight for a particular, I don't know whether to say purpose or function or whatever. Sometimes, sorry, I don't intend to be disrespectful, but sometimes some of these decisions, some of the reasons for some of these decisions are just, they're just not reasonable. They are just not sensible. And I mean this without any disrespect. I think it's just the reality, because you see, the thing is, it is always good to do things for the right reasons. So, as I was saying, so if there is a particular purpose for which they want to lose weight, then they get desperate and then they go for any kind of offer they are given. They don't even do their proper research to find out what is the reviews that other people have put about such things or such steps. Does it work? What does it entail? What are the benefits? What are the side effects? What are these? What are that? You know, there are loads and loads of questions that I will expect any averagely reasonable person to find out about whatever action they want to take. Because for me, I always feel, and seriously, I don't mean this with any disrespect, I repeat, I expect that whatever any averagely sane human being wants to do, obviously they will have thought about it, calculated it, weighed all the odds, do all the checks and balances, and make up, before they make up their mind, do they really want to do it. So And it is always better when it is for the right reasons. You see, because when it is for the right reasons, then it is easier for that person to be logical about whatever decisions they want to take. And then because they are logical, it will inform the kind of considerations that they are going to do, even the perspective for which they are going to look at what they want to do. It is going to inform it. So a lot of times, once the reason is not right, most of the time, the steps that will be taken will never be right because the perspective is already wrong. So for me, I think if one decides to lose weight so that they can be healthier for healthy purposes, then that is a very positive focus. And then they would be open to doing proper research and asking questions and being open-minded about a number of things. Then they are not likely going to have any kind of desperation. So they will understand that any change will take time. Because I always tell people, when you want to achieve any change, it never happens overnight. Any change that happens overnight is a crash program. And anything that is a crash program, what did we put in front of program? Crash. It's just going to crash and that's it. No other thing that will be gotten out of it. So we have to have the right reasons for doing whatever we need to do. So if the person is trying to lose weight because of their health, then it's a right focus. Then they'll be able to do it right. So one of the best way to understand is to think of food in food groups. So we need lots of foods from some food groups, and then we need less of foods from other groups. I'm going to be able to go through. So, like I've always said, it's important that you take your paper and pen and your jotter when you want to come on this talk show every week. Because you see, there is always one hint or the other that I will give you that will be very beneficial if you go and revisit them. And then, of course, you can ask questions maybe when next I come online, or you can send an email to ask your questions. And I've given you my word, I will reply your questions. So I want you to jot down points that is important to you. So like I said, we need lots of foods from some food groups, and then from some other food groups, we only need less foods. So that means some are plenty, some are not. But then we have what is called the Eat Well plate, which is what I will try and go summarize for us today. It's a very massive subject, so I'm not sure we'll be able to do it in only one episode. But then we'll do as much as we can today, and then we'll continue next week. So it is called the Eat Well plate, and it shows how to balance the different food groups to make up a healthy, balanced diet. So the Eat Well plate, is a shame that I can't show you pictures, but usually when we do have funding, we usually run training sessions. So that was pre-COVID. But with the situation of things now, anyway, we will let you know when we want to start to run these sessions, because with the look of things, we'll probably start to run all these sessions again on Zoom, because we don't really know when COVID is going to allow people to go back to the actual normal, which is people gathering together, because as it is now, it's only 6 people who can be together in one hall. And we wouldn't set up a training just for 6 people. It's just not cost effective. So I will let you know when we are going to start our online trainings, so that we can, because what we usually do, we usually have a series of training, and we do it around your healthy eating, how you can eat well and cook better, and just improve your health basically. So I will let you know when we are going to, because we are at some point down the line, we will start them back on Zoom, but I will let you know. But at the moment, we are not doing that yet. So you will just need to manage whatever I can pass across to you here. Although it will be limited, at least in terms of graphics, there will be limited help I can do for you. But then, of course, I will give you lots of information, which if you jot it down, you can always ask your questions by sending an email or bringing your questions to the following session. So the Eat Well plate, what it does is that it shows you how much of what should come from each food group. And this includes everything you eat during the day, even including your snacks. So it's not just about your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but even the snacks you eat for the day, because at different times, we are more, people get more peckish than each other. Some people now, they snack on fruits, they have made it, which is a very good habit. And some people snack on crisp, some will snack on all sorts of whatever. So those are the things that I'm talking about. So everything we eat from morning till night, from when we wake up in the morning to when we go to sleep at night, they are very important. It is very crucial to make sure that we understand the food groups, how do they work, and then we try to get a balance of putting those things in the appropriate groups. Now, the groups are basically about 5. So if you have your sheet of paper with you and your pen, you can kind of, as a matter of fact, if you go on Google and just type in Eat Well plate, it will come out. It will come up. You will see it. It's not any rocket science. You will see but it's just about interacting about it. You see, because the thing is, there are all sorts of information online, and sometimes the informations are too many. You don't even know what to believe and what not to believe. So for your Eat Well plate, the one that is going to be the biggest size on the plate is, of course, your fruit and vegetables. It takes the biggest chunk of your plate. And then, of course, it is followed by what you call your carbohydrates, things like your bread, your rice, your potatoes, your pasta, other starchy foods. But meanwhile, having said that, it is very crucial at this point to let you know that when you go into that second side of the plate, you should choose whole grain varieties wherever you can. And talking about whole grain, if you are talking about bread, as much as possible, it is not good to eat white bread. So if you can eat wholemeal bread, it is better for you. And talking about that, I told you we're about supporting you to take very small steps of change. You see, and I like to be very realistic. I don't like to deceive myself. For somebody who has been used to eating white bread, it's so difficult to just get them to eat wholemeal bread overnight, because wholemeal bread ordinarily they taste bland, so they wouldn't like it. So what I would suggest, if you are the type who has been used to white bread and you are thinking of embarking on a journey of a healthier eating habit and you want to change to wholemeal, you don't have to change overnight. You can be soft on yourself. What you can do, I think in some shops, there is one bread they call 50-50. So it's I think it's in Morrison's. I'm not sure. I don't know. I think one of these, I'm trying to remember the name of the baker now. Anyway, it will come to me maybe before we finish. But it is usually called 50-50. So this bread is usually half white and half wholemeal. So you can buy something like that for your starters. On the other hand, what you can also do, if you have a large family, for instance, if you buy a loaf of white sliced bread, you can also buy another loaf of a wholemeal bread, sliced wholemeal bread. So when you want to eat your sandwich, you now mix it. If you take one slice of wholemeal, you can take one slice of white bread and then put whatever you want to sandwich it with. Maybe if you want to use whatever, just mix it. And then once you mix it, there will be a kind of a balance in the taste. You see, because you will still get a little feel of your white bread that you are used to. And then, of course, the wholemeal that is not really too, not really sweet, But then, of course, the white one will balance it. So you gradually do it like that, so that if you eat 4 slices of bread, it can be 2 wholemeal, 2 white. And then you gradually do that until you can change it to 3 wholemeal, 1 white. And before you know what is happening, it's just about training our palates, to be honest. And it's not anything difficult. It is just because, oh, thank you very much. You say Kingsmill Bakery. Thank you very much. God bless you. Yes, it's Kingsmill Bakery. So it's just about gradually trying to discipline our taste buds. And before you know what is happening, your tongue will start adjusting to that whole meal. And before you know what is happening, your 4 slices of bread is a whole meal. And then another thing you can do, maybe what you use to eat your bread might be an area where you want to work on. You know what I always tell people? It's just about creativity in the kitchen. Me, I love to be creative in the kitchen. To be honest with you, I don't like following any kind of recipe. I like to always make up my own Tony recipe all the time. People who are close to me know. Because if they ask me, oh, what's the recipe? I just cooked it. Oh, I just joined everything together and mixed them together. And let me tell you, to be honest with you, those are the kind of food that is always most delicious. Those that you can't really pin their recipe down to anybody or to any procedure or whatever. So if you are creative in the kitchen, you can decide that what you want to use as what you are using to eat your bread is what you are going to adjust, so that you won't feel the blandness of the whole meal. Then so be it. So that's a hint for you there. And then, of course, the next one out of the portions of the plate is your milk and dairy foods. Even with that one, milk and dairy foods, part of what I tell people, because remember what we are looking at here is how can we be healthier. So even talking about milk, you want to start looking at using maybe semi-skimmed milk instead of whole milk. Whole milk is very fattening. So if you want to start to look at, because you see, this question of losing weight is not just about how much tablets or whatever you can consume, but just very little steps of change. Gradually, a little here, a little there, a little here, a little there. By the time you start to do it consistently, you'll be amazed. Give yourself only 6 months. You'll be shocked at how much weight you will have lost. And you will have lost it at your own pace, which is the best way to lose it. Because you see, the problem with losing weight too quickly is that the way you have lost it too quickly, because you have kind of punished your body or your system. I'm still trying to understand why the body reacts like that. So I think the body probably wants to, this may be funny, maybe the body wants to get back at you, and then it's revolting. And one of the things I have noticed, people who lose their weight in a crashed manner, by the time they bring it on again, the weight on again, it's usually terrible. It will be more than what they lost. But if you embark on the system that I'm talking you through and do it gradually, be determined in your spirit that this is what I want to do, and give yourself time, be gentle on yourself. The important thing is for you to be determined and to be disciplined. Once you can do those 2 Ds, disciplined and determined, you will get there. So, like the milk now, even just making the appropriate substitutes a little bit at a time. So you can decide to go for semi-skimmed milk, which is less fattening than whole milk. That's another little bit. You can decide to go for skimmed milk. I've never used skimmed milk, but some people say it's so bland. I don't know. But for now, I don't even use semi-skimmed anymore. I just go for all this coconut, and I go for the natural one, the one that is unsweetened and all that. Because you see, one of the things I've discovered is even a lot of people are so intolerant to lactose and all those sorts of things, but they don't even know. They are not aware. So these are things that we need to check out. Maybe check out with your doctors when you go to your surgery and all that. Find out things that you are allergic to. Find out the things that don't agree with your system. because as much of all these things that you can avoid, if they are not agreeable to your system, then the better for you. So that portion is for the milk and dairy foods. And then the very next one, that is next to that in terms of size, is your meat, your fish, your eggs, your beans, and all other non-dairy sources of protein. That's the protein area. Now, in terms of some meat, you see what I said, just some meat. As much as possible, the less red meat we eat, the better for us. So that is why it said some meat. So it is so crucial to make sure there is not much that we are eating. If we can avoid it, it's better, but I wouldn't tell you avoid it because I don't want anybody to say, oh, Tony said I shouldn't eat meat. No, you can, but if you can do it, if you can go for chicken, if you can go for white meat as opposed to red meat, and by white meat I mean things like your chicken, your turkey, and things like that, and of course your fish. You can never go wrong with fish, but you can always alternate all of them. If you have to eat red meat, well, but if you can, scantily, or if you can, not eat it at all, depending again on what is the current state of your health. Because for people who are already battling with a high blood pressure, who are already battling with diabetes, battling with this, battling with that, they need to be extremely careful, because you see, their health will be predominantly determined by what they eat. So they can either enhance and make their health better, or they can actually make it worse. So it is so crucial. And then of course, the very smallest bit on the eat well plate is just a small amount of food and drinks that is high in fat and or sugar. And when we say high in fat, next week I'm going to go into that when we talk about saturated fat and stuff like that. Because you see, if we take things that are high in fat and or sugar, a lot of times they just sit in our body, and then it doesn't do us any good at all. And those are how we gradually start to pile up unnecessary pounds that we don't need. That's the thing. So it is so crucial. That's the breakdown I have given you about the eat well plate, which, like I said, after all the explanation I've given you today, you can always just go on Google and type in eat well plate. I'm sure it's going to come up for you. And then you can look at it. And then if there are questions that you have on how to actually balance this eat well plate in a very practical way, feel free, bring your questions next week, or you can send me an email to help@listeningears.org or to feelgoodcenters@gmail.com. You can send the email to any of the two, and I will always reply or respond to your email. Otherwise, your other option is to bring the questions next week. So that's where we will stop today, and then of course next week, by God's grace, we will continue. But then my bottom line today is that despite what many people think, healthy eating isn't really about excluding foods. That's the bottom line I will give you today. It's just about eating a wide variety of foods, but just eating them in the right proportions. A lot of people say healthy eating is about eating everything in moderation, but this isn't strictly true. We need to eat more of some things and less of other. There are two different things. If people say it's about eating everything in moderation, it's not about everything. There are some things we need to eat a lot of them, and there are some things that we just need to eat less of. So next week, what we are going to do, we are going to look at things that we need to increase our consumption of them, and we look at the things that we need to decrease our consumption of them, if that makes sense. So that is the true picture of healthy eating. So next we are going to look at how much should we be eating of the different groups each day and why. That's where we will go next week. So I will be signing off now to come back to see you next week, Monday at 6 o'clock. But just before I sign off, I'd like to say a big thank you again to all those who rejoiced with us on Saturday for our 10th year anniversary for our girls project, the Rosebud Center for Girls. And I also want to tell you that Rosebud Center for Girls has become an international project. So wherever you have your relations, as long as the girls are between the ages of 9 and 16 in whatever part of the world, except America for now because of the huge time difference, because our workshops are between 5 and 6. So we are still okay with people who are in Europe, people who are in Africa. They can still participate because we are just 1 hour difference here and there. But for those who are, because I have a few inquiries already from America, we are still working on that. Then when we have enough number of girls from that particular side of the world, we are going to put their workshops on a Saturday so that it is easy to be able to manage the huge time difference. So if you have anybody in America, just tell them to take heart a little bit. We are working seriously on it because I already have about 3 or 4 inquiries of people who want to sign up their girls, but they live in America. And the 5 to 6 that we are running the workshops here is about their own 11 to 12 o'clock, which is midday. Invariably, the girls will still be in school, so it's not going to be able to work. That's why we are planning to put that on a Saturday. But at the moment, on Saturdays, between 11 and 1:30, the Rosebud Center for Girls on Zoom, they have their baking session. So if you have any girl who is interested in watching, in coming along to join the class on Saturdays, they are welcome. And on Tuesdays to Fridays, it is 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock every day. So, and then again, I also wanted to say that we are still appreciative of those who want to support us to become our partners. We are still trusting God for partners. As a charity, all our services are free. So we rely on you. We depend on the donations that you are giving us to continue to run our project. So if you want to be our partner, we have partners who give us donations every month as little as £5. But if you give us £1,000,000, we are going to take it, trust me. But then seriously speaking, some people give us £5, some give us 10, some give us 15, some give 20, some give 50. Whatever you can afford. What is important to us is that you do it on a consistent basis. So you can always go on our website, you see all our banking details there, and you can set up a direct debit from your bank. And then your bank can always give us the donation every month regularly, and we greatly appreciate this. So thank you very much, and we are still trusting God for volunteers. If you have a couple of hours in your hands in the week that you can spend to support and bring uh, meaning to the lives of other people, we will greatly appreciate it. So until next week, I want to sign off now and say take good care of yourself and each other. And until next week, by God's grace, bye and God bless you. Bye-bye. Yeah, my Facebook fans.